Hello and welcome back to another episode of Big Boys Talk. I am your host Joseph, and I'm with my handsome, sweet, beautiful, stunning co-host today.
That's right. No, that's right. It's Matt. We're back for we're back for the eighth episode.
And this is kind of a
Um,
very interesting layout for an episode. We kind of have a new concept, I guess I would say, for podcasts, as you will see in this episode and the upcoming episodes. But basically, to kind
yeah.
of like boil it down, I guess, Matt, do you want to describe how it kind of works? Just a basic
So
rundown.
yeah. One shout out to my coworker, and you'll know this if you'll know who you are if you are listening to this. But he gave me this idea that our last episode there was this little like 5-10 seconds of silence at the beginning, and if we just kind of switched around the editing a little bit, it would help cut down the pauses kind of inherent with just like going off rip. So what we chose to do this time was record the introduction after we had finished talking to our guest. So speaking about our guest, just last 10 minutes we just got done talking to Dred.
Yeah, Dred,
He goes by
amazing,
yep.
amazing storyteller. I mean, we got some really interesting stories coming up. He had in stories from his time in cable installation to disgusting houses, insane, dangerous houses with shotguns, and then we kind of transition over to his time in incarceration as a corrections officer. This guy had a lot of stuff, but what I was trying to aim at, right, is that the rest of these podcasts are going to be kind of more. It's not even like a person
Did I
study,
just
right?
miss the
A little bit, yeah, kind of. I
I
didn't really mean
I didn't know we were getting that. We weren't locked in right there. That's my fault.
yeah, I didn't mean
Um,
the introduction. I mean more of like the meat and
okay.
potatoes. Yeah,
So what we're choosing to do now is in comparison to our other episodes where it was kind of like a ask the internet about what's your favorite blah blah blah, or whatever it may be, and Joe and I talk between one another. We've kind of pivoted towards this new format where we go online or we grab one of our friends, whatever it may be, and we kind of talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. And that sounds a little lazy just on the surface, but like I feel like it opens the door for more
uh-huh,
genuine conversation.
yeah.
Like okay, like me personally, I studied sociology in college, so I find it interesting to learn about the different subcultures within not even just America, but like the world, because everyone has a story to tell and everyone has lived experiences that are different from either of ours, me or Joe's. So I think the main point of this podcast now is to kind of have real conversations with real people about whatever it may be. So,
It's about
um,
perspective. It's about differing perspective, right? And I think a pretty important sub notes to talk about before we get into the episode itself is that um specifically in the future, this one wasn't it was crazy, but it wasn't anything like that off the rails. But we don't necessarily endorse or believe in any of the things that our guest speaks on. We're not gonna kind of say, we're not gonna attack them in the moment unless it's something really out of pocket or off the wall. But this is kind of gonna be a place of super differing opinion, right? We might get one person that believes that the moon is fake one episode, and that isn't a reflection of our
yeah,
belief, but it's more about just kind of the concept of the whole podcast itself is perspective and differing perspective. And it's important to know that your two hosts, your two amazing, or you're one handsome and then me, hosts that don't necessarily believe the stuff that you might hear from the guest. Now
right, right.
we do have one rule that we let know before, is that you can go crazy, just don't get hateful. And Dred did, obviously I don't think Dred had, it didn't sound like he had any real hate in his heart. He sounds like a
No,
real
he,
genuine
he was
guy.
excellent. He was,
Yeah, great guy. But in the future, if
great
anything
guy.
does get crazy, it is important to know that we aren't the believers of these takes or these opinions. We're just kind of having them on our podcast. And if it does, I'm sure Matt
This,
will agree.
yeah,
Yeah. If it does
yeah,
get
this
bad,
is
we
now
won't have
right, and
them
like you
there.
said, and this doesn't apply to it. This doesn't. We're not just because Dred was on the episode. This isn't about Dred. This is just a blanket kind of disclaimer for us going forward, because what we want this to be is a place for discourse, and part of that is sometimes you get people that might have some opinions that you don't really agree with, or they
Yeah.
might say something that's kind of reprehensible to you personally. And I think one of the important parts, at least from a sociological uh, like exchange of ideas standpoint, it's you kind of have to go into these things uh impartial, like this
Definitely.
is
Yeah.
this is a moment. I think that's how you get the ability to have a genuine conversation, is you let these people talk about whatever it is they're going to talk about, and then after the fact, it might be we might be here during another intro going, okay, that was fucking crazy, or
Yeah.
whatever, like that dude was go off the rails. But it's the entire point now is just to have a venue to discuss really whatever, and this episode was, I think, a really great start to
Super
that.
great start. Yeah. We got some really we got a cool guy is what we'll say. So thank you for
Yeah,
listening. Thank you for all the people that actually do listen to this. We're gonna go out on Spotify,
yeah.
on podcast. We're gonna have a YouTube on our accounts. We're gonna upload it to YouTube. Big Boys Talk on YouTube and on Spotify. Thank you to everyone that is listening and watching. And we can just get into it now with Dred.
Also, I'm
Oh,
sorry. I'm sorry. Wait.
yeah.
I'm sorry. One more thing. In the description of the YouTube video, I don't know
Yes.
if you can look it on
Sorry.
Spotify. We're gonna have
Yes.
Dred he's a short story writer. He does short films. I haven't read them yet because we just finished, but I will get back to you in the next episode introduction, and I'll tell you what I think. And by judging by how he was, how we interact with him, I think they're going to be excellent.
I
So
anticipate some good stuff. Yeah.
if you have time, go in the description. He has short stories. He's working on short films. He's a creative, and it takes a lot of guts to do something like that, right?
Yes.
So
So he put into our
support him.
chat that all his socials on
Yeah,
pretty much any website that he's on. I think I saw X, TikTok, and then Facebook. He goes under the group of the RedPenMen, and I will be
right.
including
It's
all
a
of
it's
the
a
links in the description for both Spotify and YouTube as well, because he definitely
Yep. He
deserves
writes
for
with
what
a
he put
few of
in.
his buddies. He writes with a few of his buddies short stories. They're working on films, and I think he has a lot to contribute artistically, creatively.
Yes. Yes.
So I think now we can get into the episode, and we hope you enjoy it, especially the chicken bone
Oh yeah,
one.
when you hear chicken bone, just know that you're about to hear something crazy. So thank you for listening, and without further ado, here we go. Hello.
What's up?
What's up, man? How are you doing
What's
today?
going on, man?
Good, yourself?
So far, so good. We still got like 5 hours left of being awake, so we still got time, but hopefully good so
I'm
far.
happy. It's Friday, man. Long last week. So the way we do it is recording right now. We do the intro after. We're trying to do another thing, so
Mhm.
I think we're just gonna get into it now.
We're just gonna be good, yeah. So first of
Yeah,
all,
that's cool.
yeah, thank you for coming on. This is a little bit of a guinea pig episode, so stick with us. We might be a little bit not unprepared, but we're still ironing out the kinks. So thank you for coming on. Would you like to introduce yourself, either with your name on Reddit or your actual name, or whatever you feel comfortable with?
Uh, I'm I'm Dred Baird of TheRedPenMen, and just here to hang.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Well, yeah.
Right on.
Thank you for coming. The
So
originally,
I think
uh,
I think well, one, welcome on the podcast, and also you're our first guest in kind of like this format where we get a person just from the internet, and I think you stood out immediately from
yeah.
from your Reddit post
All right.
saying what you had to talk about, man. I mean, it's like, well, you started with the cable thing, right? And um I just, you said way too many things that I was just, it piqued my interest way too much. You said you have guys with massive porn bills, sex dungeons,
Yeah.
the parrot that was cussing you out, and those are all really
Yep.
interesting stories. But I think first off, I want to ask is just like, how did you? You said you spent a couple decades in the cable industry. How did that get started?
Basically, I met my now wife, and I was working a piss poor minimum wage job and
Hmm.
applied to work at the cable company because it like doubled my current
Okay,
salary at the
right
time, and
on.
then I got hired on, and it was just kind of a learning phase from there.
What did you mostly
It's
do? Were you
interesting.
mostly like like installation or
Uh,
checking the
when
bills
I
or how that?
first No, when I first started, I was mostly installation. I moved up to service calls pretty quick, and then we got bought by a different company, and they rearranged some stuff, and then they started doing telephone and internet when internet was first going away from dial-up.
Hmm.
That's how long ago that shit was.
So you really were able to see the full evolution from dial up to what we would consider the internet now, huh?
Absolutely. I went from basically we were dial-up to we were installing like the DVRs when those got popular, and
Okay.
when when streaming kind of started to take off. I think I was still there a little bit because people were doing that where with the multiple boxes where you could pause in one room and pick it up watching in another and
Hmm.
all that other stuff. So I kind of seen that stuff coming
But you were around when
firsthand.
you were around when like coaxial cable installations were a thing. Like that's how people
Oh
got
yeah.
their television. Yeah, so
Yep.
I gotta ask, this is kind of an urban legend now, but like illegal cable boxes, like black boxes. Did you know a guy, or were you the guy? Was that as big of a thing as I think it is, or is it just kind of like what I said, an urban legend?
So the box part of it is pretty much urban legend. I mean, like the really old boxes, you could do that with, but by the time I got there, they were going pretty much straight to the TVs. Then you didn't really need a box unless you wanted digital cable or the DVR. But yeah, I mean, free cable was done, and
Right.
And what
Yeah.
is what? So okay, I'm actually unaware. What is this black box? I can kind of infer that you just get either free TV or free phone charge. How does that work? What is that?
so back in the day when they had like console TVs and stuff,
Hmm.
the cable companies had these boxes with a very simplistic remote control that people would hook up to their TV so then they could watch cable channels
Okay.
on their regular TV that might not have had the like UHF, VHF connectors that were still separated, where you had to get the two prong bullshit
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all that crap.
So this would have been like one of the first, like, if it was real, one of the first ever examples of like pirating. Then kind of where you're just like taking.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
but you say that it
Yep.
wasn't real
And
though.
no, it was there. It wasn't really done with the box. Like a lot of your older style cable systems, they had what they called traps, where you could just spin this tube onto a line, and it would allow less channels or more channels and that type of stuff.
Okay, so you had
So
to really work to be able to do that. Then it's not some easy shit you could either buy from the black market or something. You had to really put in
well,
some effort.
you had to know a guy
Okay.
basically. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
a,
I'm
I
not
think
going to
that's
say
a
I never hooked up anyone for free before because I did, but
It's awesome.
Nice.
That's what I was wondering. I think because there was an episode of Seinfeld about that where Larry or Jerry's looking for, like, he knows a guy who knows a guy, and it's this whole thing. That's the only interaction I've had with cable black boxes, is like this kind of comedy thing where people are making fun of it, but it was a real thing as far as I know back in the day. So
yep, it definitely was.
as a installer or service caller, um what did a typical day look like for you? You were going to houses, and at least when you worked for
Whatever
individual
company, yeah.
consumers, you're making house calls.
Yeah, basically. So when I first started, it the technology was there that you would go in the morning, you would pick up your route, which was your stack of work that you had to do for the day,
Uh-huh.
and then you would just go do it. Um, and you'd have to use a radio to call in when the job was complete and whatnot. But no one really could keep track of you. That was before they could low jack vehicles and all that fun stuff.
Okay.
So
Yeah, yeah.
you would get your route for the day and just disappear like a fart in the wind. And if you got your work done, then you were just kind of out fucking around. But they don't do that anymore.
And it certainly seems like you had quite the amount of experiences in these different houses. Can we jump into, I mean, we have to know about either the sex toy house or the bird cussing you out, because
Okay,
those were the two that immediately jumped out to me just from the cable stuff that you were talking about earlier.
I'll start with the bird because it's a little more laid back, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, it was a trailer park,
Okay.
and uh, we get in there, and you walk into the trailer, and the hallway goes to the right, and there's like this back bedroom, and you step into the living room,
Hmm.
and I figured out what the guy wanted done. He was basically just wanting our one outlet with a cable box. So
Yeah.
I got the outlet done, went and got the cable box, and I came in and I was hooking it up, and I hear, "Hey," and I was like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean? Because the guy's in
Yeah.
the kitchen, he's not
Yeah.
talking to me. I just hear, "Hey," and so I just kind of look around, and then I go back to doing my thing, and then I hear, "Hey, you."
Okay.
So I like look around again, and I look down the hallway, and I can see the cage, but I don't see the bird. You know what I mean?
So you're like
So
some entities
You're
in
like,
this back
yeah,
room
this
locked
guy's
up.
fucking with
Yeah.
me.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's this guy's kid, or you know what I mean? I don't know, fucking
Yeah.
know. And then I hear, "Hey, you motherfucker!" I was like, "The fuck?" And the guy's at the table, and he starts laughing. He goes, "That's my parrot." And he went back and got him and got it out. And yeah, that thing was just sit there and cuss like a sailor. I mean, you could talk to it and it'd call you a fucker or whatever. And this dude's like apologizing profusely, and I thought it was hysterical, but
Mhm.
he was all embarrassed and shit. But it was funny.
You're better than me, because the moment I heard "Hey you" and the second time that I didn't see anything, I would have gotten the hell out of that fucking trailer. That trailer, I'm not sitting around to see what kind of ghost is about to haunt my
This
ass
place
after
is
I stay there.
haunted.
Yeah, I'm not about to go
Right.
and see what this guy was. So was his living conditions like? Was it well? I mean, like I know trailers can obviously, vary
No,
from very
actually, it
disarrayed
was
or.
no, it was a really nice trailer. It was one of I don't want to call it high end because it wasn't a high end trailer, but
Uh
it
huh.
Right.
was it was in a trailer park, but it was clean. Like the people were clean, the house was
People were clean.
clean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get that. In my line of work, I end up going to a lot of trailer parks and just individual homes as well, and you can kind of tell immediately just from like rolling up like what you're going to be dealing with on the inside. Because first of all, I'm not sure if you can agree or attest to this, but you can pretty much smell the outs or the inside from the outside. You
absolutely,
can smell the inside from the outside.
absolutely.
I've dealt with
Yeah,
some horrible fucking dungeons of places, and man, you can know right away. And then secondly,
yep,
funnily enough, the stairs to the front door are always crumbling on bad houses. They're always like the wood is just bending and rotting. You can
yeah,
tell that it's going to be a doozy walking in. Yeah.
yep. I had this house in the because the cable company that I worked for, we did service and installs for four different cities at the time.
Hmm.
I shouldn't say cities. They hardly count as towns. Like
Okay.
they're the
Yeah.
biggest one was like
Tribes.
30,000 people. Yeah,
The dots on the map.
and we go to this house, and I go up, and you kind of get that funk smell.
Uh
Like you
huh.
can tell they have
Absolutely.
pets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Piss and shit and cat pee and cat pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ring the doorbell, and I've got a guy with me because we were working in this town together. There was too much work for one person, but not quite enough work for two people.
Yeah.
So we kind of just like merged our route together and then worked together because we could get it done faster.
Uh huh.
And we go to this house, and I ring the doorbell, and this bitch answers the door, and we're asking her questions. She's
Uh-huh.
like, "Yeah, come on in," and we step in, and like the carpet is like that Berber type shit,
Oh yeah.
and there are holes worn through the carpet to like the hardwood floor, and you can see like dog shit smeared into it and
Oh.
all this
Oh.
other shit. And this bitch has the nerve to ask me if I'd take off my boots. And I laughed at her.
Yeah.
I said,
What for
absolutely
Not
not.
yeah,
happening.
do you have a hazmat suit instead? Am I gonna be putting on a hazmat suit? What's
Right.
going on here? I'm not
Yeah.
taking my
Like,
fucking boots off.
I'm going to track stuff into this house that's going to make it smell better. Shut up.
Maybe that's what she was worried about. Maybe she was worried about the fact that you stepped in, roses outside, and she was like, "I like the smell
Yeah.
of dungeony in here." So,
Yeah.
damn. Because similarly, I've I won't get into what I do exactly, but I've gone into bed bug houses, roach houses,
Hmm.
hoarder houses, and especially with like the hoarder houses, you can always it is really just like a mental disorder, I guess. Either with like whatever you feel attached to these items. But man, some people just live
In
in
filth.
squalor and yeah, in filth.
Yeah.
It really is crazy. Especially you can come home and you're like, maybe this house isn't that dirty compared to the rest of the people out there.
Right.
So
Yeah. Makes you feel. And that was one of my favorite things too. Like, I went into this house where it was an apartment, and it's the middle of winter time, and I go to the back door because that's where their apartment was,
mhm.
and there's no door. It's a blanket, right?
Oh yeah.
So I knock on this door jamb, and somebody yells, "Come in!" And that's not happening until I see somebody's face or know that there's no pets, or you know what I mean.
Yeah, the pit bull
So
coming up on you. Yeah.
so I knock on this door jamb again, and she finally comes, and she pulls the blanket back, and I step inside, and it's like this short little like 5 or 6 foot long hallway, and then there's another blanket, and she pulls that back, and I step inside. So there's no hard door between her and the outside, and it's like
Oh my
below 30
god.
degrees. I live in Illinois, so the winters can get fairly cold.
Hmm.
But uh, as I step in, there's this huge pile of trash that is just on the floor, and the house reeks. And she looks at me and she says, "Don't mind the mess. I haven't had time to clean up today." And I looked at her and I went,
Today.
"Today?"
Yeah, today.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
So
I'm sure today is the last time that you were supposed to clean.
right,
Right.
yeah. So she takes me into this living room, and the old school big screen TVs, the giant boxes,
The box
basically.
ones, yeah, like the
Yeah.
tubes, the tube TVs, kind of.
Yes.
Yes.
So she has one of those, and the digital box is on top of it. And as I go to reach up to grab the box, it looks like the side of the TV starts moving.
Oh no. Oh
So
no.
I stop, and I take a step over to the side, and I click my flashlight on, and roaches just
Oh.
gather.
Oh my gosh.
So I looked at her and I was like, "I'll be right back." So I walked out, called into my dispatch, told them what was going on, that I wasn't going back in the house.
Yeah. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'm not coming
Right.
back in
So
there.
so I went and got the new digit because we're not allowed to tell them they can't have service, right?
Uh-huh.
Uh, so I go and get their new digital box, and I get a trash bag, and I walk up and I pound on the door jamb again, and she finally comes, and she's like, "You don't have to knock. You can just come and go as you need to." And I handed her the new digital box. I said, "You need to disconnect the other one, hook this one up, and put the old one in this trash bag, and then
Uh-huh.
come back and let me know when you're done." And she goes, "Oh, you're not going to do it?" I was like, "No, you have bugs, and I'm not going in there." She goes, "Oh, are you allergic?" And I
Are
was
you
like,
allergic?
"No,
Yeah, to
you're
smelling like
disgusting."
shit. That's what I'm
Yeah.
allergic
Yeah,
to.
Allergic to filth. Yeah.
right. So then
That's
I tied that box got tied to the mirror on the very back of my van, and didn't go into my van. And I took it back to the office immediately, and I was like, "Here's a roach box. Have fun."
that's Yeah, I couldn't even imagine.
That's disgusting, honestly. So yeah, so I mean, some very filthy environments you've worked in. Obviously, are there any that were like overtly dangerous? Did you ever have to get into rickety attics or rusted out
Oh,
under
absolutely.
parts of the houses? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you definitely ran in. I had a guy threaten me with a shotgun because he got home from work, and I was actually reconnecting his neighbor's cable, and
Okay.
he got out of his truck and he said, "You better not be disconnecting my cable." And I
Otherwise, I'm
said,
gonna
"What are you
shoot
doing?"
your head smooth off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just kind of looked at him and I laughed. I was like, "What are you going to do about it?" He's like, "I'll go get my gun." And by that time, I was like, "All right." So I took my wrench and I disconnected his drop and I let it hang just to see what he would do. And that fucker, he came back out holding the shotgun, wanting to know what the fuck I was doing.
And you're like, matter of
And I
fact, let me
told
reconnect that for you, sir. Let me let me get my ass off this ladder and come back down and then get out of here then.
no, I told him, I said, "Oh, I had to disconnect your line to hook your neighbor up. It'll be back on in a little bit." And then I left his off the entire time I was working on their house.
That is, oh my god. Because obviously with jobs like emergency services, with firefighting, EMTs, they're trained to not go into certain places unless they feel safe, right? Anything that
Right.
could be a danger, let's just wait until we have things under more control. But I'm sure, what year must this have been? Like the 90s, the 80s, 90s?
So I started doing cable in 98 or 99.
I'm if
And
I would I be remiss to say that the OSHA regulations for shotguns probably weren't set in stone, and they were just
yeah,
like,
no. Yeah, there wasn't I mean there were some safety procedures, but
uh huh,
like if you know anyone that's worked in the cable industry for a long time that was a ladder jockey, they probably have back issues just
okay,
because it'll it'll fuck you're carrying an 80-pound ladder either on your
yeah.
hip or your shoulder and all that all the time. So
Do you then? Do you have those issues that you?
oh,
Oh,
absolutely. Yep.
okay. Damn. Well, how do you? That sucks. I mean, do you do anything now to like kind of like relieve that pain at all, or are you just kind of set and it's like, well, if it's here, so.
I get stoned a lot.
You know what?
That works.
That
Hey,
certainly
hey
works.
man.
That certainly works.
Right on, man.
What stretching
Right.
won't do, I'm sure a little bit of marijuana will help with. So I understand
That
it.
is correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's the guy with the shotgun is interesting because in certain areas, or at least in certain demographics, I would assume are kind of more territorial or standoffish in their house. I mean, it's your house. You don't really want this cable guy stomping around in there. Did you ever? And this is in relation to the. You said you went to $1 million homes, super ultra rich, ultra fancy. Did you ever notice kind of like different personality aspects between those two, like the trailer park or the mansion? Did they act different? Was there a kindness present or not present when dealing with certain people?
Um, most of the time, your lower income level homes and even your middle class, when you showed up at their house, they'd tell you what they wanted, you'd tell them what you were doing, and they'd leave you alone and
Mhm.
just let you do your thing. Some of the upper people, they would follow you around from room to room, talking to you, trying
Oh,
to see what you're
They're
doing,
watching
and
you.
yeah, just to
Yeah.
make
yeah,
sure.
and
Yeah,
that type
okay.
of stuff. Um, but in the area that I lived in, uh, or worked in, it wasn't horrible. I mean, like I said, it was a lot of small town
Hmm.
Sure.
stuff. We it didn't happen to me, but I did have a buddy that went to do a non-pay because non-pay is once a month. Uh, we would come in to work and it was non-pay day, and they would hand you a stack of work orders, and it was people that were delinquent on their bill, and all
Right.
you did that day was drive from house to house trying to collect the money. If you collected the money, then you could leave them on. If no one answered or they didn't have the money, you'd have to disconnect them.
Okay.
And this guy went to a house, knocked on the door. Nobody answered. He threw his ladder up, climbed up, disconnected it, came back down, put his ladder on his truck, and he's starting to drive down the road. And he said this enormous black woman came running out of the house, buck naked,
Butt
chasing him
naked.
down the
Okay.
street, telling him that he needed to turn her cable back on, that she had the money.
It's like we should have fucking answered the first time, maybe, because I know
Right,
you saw
yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, so he told me he slowed down for about 3 blocks and let her chase him, and then took off.
What do you?
Right. So
I wonder then, like, what she must have been doing if she was. Maybe she actually did want to pay, and she was like in the shower, and it was bad timing. But I wonder how
Yeah.
she, maybe it was an instant. Oh, it got turned off. The noise background was kind of just shut off, and then she's like, "What the hell?" And she went out and saw him. But that's
Right.
yeah.
maybe
But
it
we
was
did have customers that were non-pays every month,
Uh-huh.
and they would wait for you to come to pay you. We had this one guy. He was notorious for it, and uh, he was kind of a dick about it. And
Mhm.
so we got to the point with him that we would get there, and instead of knocking like we were supposed to, we'd just go up and disconnect them,
Oh
and then
wow.
pull the ladder down and leave, because we were sick of dealing with this shit.
No, I bet. Yeah.
Was that just because like he just wanted to be confrontational, like I'm getting one over on the company, or like why specifically would he go delinquent every month, do you think?
I think he just liked watching people show up and start to climb the ladder before he would come and pay.
He's lonely. Yeah, yeah.
He's just like
Yeah,
watching
you know
men
what I
work.
mean?
Yeah. He just likes
Right.
watching men
Yeah,
work, I
that's
guess.
But yeah, after we did that a few times, he came off the non-pay bill, and we didn't have to deal with him anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
How did so going from this, as you mentioned, the varying different houses and people you met, how did this type of job, this service job where you had to enter into people's lives, pretty intimately, up into their homes and changing stuff for them, how did this affect either, how you see people in general or how you see the different jobs in general? What kind of changes to your perspective did the job that you do or you did affect your life at all?
It made me a lot more careful when I came home, because there were houses that I had. One house, one time I went to do a hookup. The house was completely empty. He told me where he needed everything upstairs. I told him I needed to see the basement.
Uh-huh.
He took me down to the basement. He didn't have any power down there, so I'm just using my flashlight to look around. Got all the information that I needed, and we go back upstairs. And when I got upstairs, I was covered head to toe in fleas.
Oh my
What the
God.
fuck?
Yeah, I was livid, like I was pissed, and I told him that we wouldn't be back until he had that shit cleaned up. And I got in my van and I called my boss, and this was at like 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'd been there maybe 2 hours that day, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm covered in fucking fleas. I'm going home. I'm taking a flea bath, and I don't know when I'll be back to work. He goes,
Yeah.
well, you'll be back to work today, right? And I said, absolutely fucking not.
You're out of your damn mind thinking I'm coming
You
back
want
here.
boys in the
Yeah.
office, man. Yeah, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
making
went
fucking $10 an
home.
hour. I'm not coming back. I'm not going
Well,
back
we
with
ma-
you.
we made a little more than 10.
Okay.
We were up around $25, $26 an hour is what we
Wow.
made.
Back in the 90s,
In the
that's
90s, that's
yeah,
awesome. What?
it's
Yeah,
respectable.
exactly. But I went home and I live out in the country. I
Mm-hmm.
went home, I stripped down naked out in my front yard,
Mm-hmm.
threw my uniform in a burn barrel and lit the fucker on fire, and went inside, got my dog's flea shampoo, took a flea bath, shower, whatever you want to call it. And then I got those bug bombs, and I just took a whole package and threw the fuckers in my van and lit them off.
You know
And
what? And let me guess, you didn't have to deal with the fleas anymore, did you?
no, I sure didn't. But if I'd have got those inside, my wife would have killed me.
Yeah, I'm sure. The same thing. When I had the bug bite or the bed bug home, I was told, luckily, before I went in, and I kind of like peeked around. I didn't see any, because they weren't like directly in the front door. And I was like, sir, I really cannot help you unless you come out here, and then B, I need you to be like clean as much as clean as you possibly can be,
Right.
because he was like, yeah, you know, I have a bad case of bed bugs, but I still need the service that you offer. And I was like, tough shit, buddy. You know, I'm not risking coming back and ruining
Right.
my apartment just because you wanted some stuff done with yourself. So
Exactly.
okay, well,
Right.
you know,
I gotta
secondly,
hear.
yeah.
I got sorry, Joe. I gotta hear about the sex dungeon, sex toy house.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You mentioned
there
it.
was
Yeah.
there's actually more than one of those, believe it or
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Uh, we we went to this one house. It was an apartment again for the first one, and you walked in, and, and this chick had vibrators and dildos everywhere, like decorations on shelves, and one just laying out in the middle of her bed when we went to go into the cable room to install the outlet. And I mean, zero shame, which whatever. I mean, I don't give a shit. You do you, as far as I'm
Right.
concerned. But it
Yeah.
was just
It's
funny
her
because
home.
yeah, there's handcuffs out, there's vibrators. She had this enormous, like, I'm talking like 3 foot tall dildo standing in the corner of one of her rooms.
Oh
Like, it
my
was
gosh.
just,
Like
yeah, it was
the
hilarious.
you're like,
Like
at this
everywhere.
point it's decorational. It cannot be. At this
Right.
point it's
Yeah.
simply not
Yeah.
She
functional.
just really likes mechanical cocks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right on.
I gotta wonder like how that yearly inspection went with the apartment then, you know? Like do they go in, they take one peek, you're like, you know what? Honestly, we're good. I
Yeah.
don't really want to go in there.
So, like obviously it's a very tough job from what I've heard you described. Is there like personally or professionally, was there a satisfying part of it when you kick your boots off at the end of the day? Are you like, man, I did X today and that made me feel good, or was it just one of those? And there's a lot of them where you're like, it's a job, you know?
No, you would run into, especially with the internet coming out and older people. So you would run into these people, and like there was this elderly couple, and they had never had internet before, but were her two grandsons were in the service, and it's when Skype was starting to get big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So she wanted to get set up so she could Skype with her two kids that were in the service. But when I got there to set up the internet, her computer and everything was in the box still, and we weren't supposed to hook up equipment for them or anything like
Right.
that. But I always did, and in this case, especially when it involves military, you know what I mean. I'm going to go above and
Sure.
beyond.
Yeah.
So I hooked everything up for her, set it up for her, made it the easiest possible way so she could just like click these two buttons and be on. You know what I mean? Check her
Mm-hmm.
email, get on Skype, that type of stuff. And she was really thankful and all that stuff. And I never gave my personal number out, but I gave my personal number out to this lady and told her, if you have any problems, call me. I'll make time when I'm at work to stop by and take care of it if you need it.
That's awesome.
So
That's very kind of you. That's very
Very
kind of
two
you.
admirable.
2 or 3 days goes by and I get a phone call from her, and she's distraught because that evening she's supposed to Skype with her grandson that was in the army. And I said, I've got time between like 10 and 11. I'll come out and see what's going on. So I get there. Well, her daughter had showed up and decided that she didn't like how her mom's computer was set up. And so she changed everything.
Okay. Yeah.
So the lady couldn't get to where she needed to get to or whatever. So I fixed everything for her again. But yeah, lots of times kids would do that to their parents where
Which
we would get it set up for them so that they could understand it, and they would. And I shouldn't say kid. I mean, this lady was 60 or 70, so her daughter was probably in her 30s. You know what I mean? At the time.
Which is crazy too, because I have a dad that's technologically illiterate too, and
Uh huh.
knowing how like I try to explain new concepts to him, it looks like I'm fucking speaking Russian to him. So if to change around all the stuff that they've done, I fully have like a pen and paper. I make him write down the instructions whenever he calls me for like tech help, and he has those. He has pretty much all of the instructions I've given him like plastered up around
Right.
the computer. So it's just so crazy because I mean I guess at that time this was like you said like this near the start of the internet, right?
Yeah.
They probably
Sort
didn't
of
understand.
high speed and broadband. Yeah.
Okay, they probably didn't understand then how horrible the older generation was going to be with this new technology because you know at this point nowadays it's even a joke with having to help your parents and having all the stupid shit happen whenever you're like talking with them or helping them with the internet. So it probably was that reason if I had to guess because it's pretty well known at this point.
Right. But like I think because I mean I'm pushing 50, right?
Hmm.
So I am getting to that point where technology is slipping by me now too, and I've always been kind of astute in it. You know what I mean? And my son, who's about 25,
Uh-huh.
is starting to bear the brunt of that because there's shit that I don't keep up on, like
Like what, for
Snapchat.
example? Okay, Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Okay.
Okay, I hate Snapchat. I hate Snapchat with a passion. Uh, my son loves it. That's what he uses for his main communication or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And we play games together online and
Oh,
that type of
nice.
shit.
Okay.
And so he's busting my balls wanting me to get Snapchat. So I finally break down and I get the shit. And you know how it asks you if you want to check contacts and shit
Yes, yeah.
to see if they have it. So I was like, yeah, go for it. Well, one of the people that it said was my cousin, right? And I hadn't talked to him in years,
Hmm.
but I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I get this message from him, right? From my cousin.
From your
I say
quote
that.
unquote cousin, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I was like, "Good. How are you? It's been a while." Blah blah blah. And he's like, instantly, I get sent a dick pic,
Oh,
right?
okay. How was
And I'm
it?
What?
like,
I'm just kidding.
"Yeah." I'm like, what the fuck is this, right? And
Yeah.
then he sends me uh, the next message. He goes, "Are you?" Are you anything what I like? I was like, what are you talking
What
about?
is
He's like,
going
I
on?
like, yeah, he's like, I like hairy men and blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude. And as I'm getting ready to respond, I get another message from another guy. It's a group of dudes that send each other fucking dick pics and shit. And I'm like, get me out of this fucking group now,
Yeah,
because I didn't know how to get out
you got
or
put directly
nothing.
into the Epstein email list. You know,
Yeah,
you got put directly
Jesus.
there.
I was just like, what the fuck is this bullshit? You know what I mean? Like, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. Like, I don't care about people's sexuality, but I'm Gen X. I'm from the
No,
90s. You
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So for me, I was just like,
You know, I don't think you have to
Jesus.
be Gen X, whatever. I think an uninvited dick pic to your phone is probably going to be pretty surprising to anybody. So,
That's a what the
Right.
fuck from everybody,
yeah,
Yeah, I
I
was
don't know
just
too
like,
many people now. They're like, oh, okay, you know, I like the angle, I like the lighting and the pose of it, but
right? So yeah, cable installation, some good, some bad, disgusting shitholes, beautiful mansions,
yep.
sex toy dungeon, whatever, but also some really rewarding moments. If you had to describe being a cable technician in just one word, what would it be?
Honestly, I would say fun. Like I had a
Fun.
lot of yeah, I had a lot of good time. Like the people that I worked with, uh, we had a good group of guys that worked together. You know what I mean? So
uh-huh.
between jobs or whatever, people would meet up and take a break together and hang out and bullshit and that
Okay.
type of stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, on really cold days and really hot days, you were like, fuck this shit. You
And
know what I
Everyone's
mean?
Illinois
pissed
too,
off.
yeah.
Yeah.
In
Right,
Illinois too, I'm sure
exactly.
that it got like really cold then.
Yeah. But I mean, I had a lot of fun doing the job. Now, doing the job then and doing the job now would be two very different things
Probably
because
a
they
little bit
have
different.
everything like low jacked and they track your movements and all that.
Uh-huh.
Which when I quit, that's what was starting to come in. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm glad I don't do it now because they basically took all the benefits of the job away when
The
they
lack of the
started.
regulation definitely helped the
Right.
quality of the work, or the quality of life for working. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you had a pretty good time. I'm glad you got out when you did, because no one wants to be, location track, quota met,
Yeah.
and all that stuff that's kind of taking over our workforce today. So, pivoting off of the cable thing, you said after you finished that job, you kind of got into corrections as an officer,
Yeah. So
right?
I left the cable company. I was there for 14 years, and then I did corrections for 7 or 8 years after
Yeah.
that.
Was it a jail or was it a prison?
No, it was a state prison.
Okay.
State prison.
Wow.
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
Saw some pretty crazy stuff. We
right.
had
Oh,
the pre talk before, and you had mentioned chicken bones. If you remember what you said about that, so if you remember what you said, we have to ask about that because that is just a ridiculous thing of what you were saying.
yeah. So you would have inmates like they have nothing but time on their hands to come up with
Right.
shit or do shit, try to do shit to fuck with you. I mean, and don't get me wrong, these dudes, like some of them, the shit that they come up with was like genius level stuff to like hide
Okay,
stuff
yeah.
and like it was crazy some of the stuff that they would come up with. But this one particular guy on I think it was Thursdays, it was fried chicken. Every Thursday was fried chicken and this dude would try and smuggle the chicken bones to his cell and he would file them down to a point and not to use as a weapon like you would think that most people
In a
might use
Right.
prison, absolutely,
Right.
yeah.
for like shank or something like that, but
Yeah.
he would use it so he could ram it up the hole of his dick.
Oh my god.
And
Oh my
yeah,
god. Oh.
yeah, and he would just put it up and down and try and get himself hurt so he could go to
What?
healthcare and all
That's
that
wait,
stuff.
wait, wait. That's the reason.
Yeah.
I thought it was like some sort of like off the wall kink or something. He was just trying to get sent to medical. I feel like there's
Yeah,
got to be a better way, right? Like a coughing or I don't know, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. You're like, you don't have
but
to jump straight to the.
yeah, zero to
yeah,
yeah, 0 to 10.
well, but you would get to the point where you would have these inmates that were constantly trying to get to healthcare, and you would kind of pick up on it, and you knew they were faking. And
Right.
once
So
they got to
the
that point, you were just like, no. So then this guy's like, all right, well, fuck you. I'll just put a chicken bone on my dick. All
yeah, you
right,
can't
well,
can't fake
Yeah. You
that.
can't
you
fake that. You
You
can't fake
can't fake
that.
you win,
that.
you win, bro. You want to go to healthcare? Go for it.
So like,
Don't
how
What
did
hold
was
back.
the
he?
purpose?
Yeah.
What was the purpose of going to healthcare or the infirmary?
Healthcare had air conditioning.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's, you know what?
amenities, I
Illinois
guess.
summer, you're hot, you're sweating.
Right.
We live in the American Southwest, so it's like no AC. I get it. You know
I
what? I might do
absolutely
something
understand.
crazy. I
Yeah.
might do something crazy too.
Yeah. Maybe not that much,
Sitting
but
in the hot ass room.
now, how does he present this? Does he just like stand with his dick out to the bars and just like start wiggling it around, or how does that work? How did you guys
No,
just
he
find
would.
him mid process, or
So it's not your typical like it's not just bars, right?
yeah?
So the in this particular prison, it's a door, and it's got bars on the upper half with a window that you could look into, but
Uh
it's a skinny window. Uh, and then they had like chuck holes, which was the door that you pull down so you could serve them food or give them stuff through the chuck hole without having to open the door. And he would basically just wait until someone was doing their rounds, and he would just beat on his door and get their attention. And when they'd go over to see what he'd want, he'd be like, "Hey, check it out."
check it out.
Guess
Check
what
it
I'm
out. Yeah.
doing?
Guess what I'm doing? Bet you won't. Oh my god.
So obviously that's not like I mean, on Thursdays, of course, but that's not like a everyday occurrence. I would assume. So what did a
No.
typical day consist of as a corrections officer?
So starting off, I worked mostly thirds because I was new at the time.
That's the graveyard, the night shift.
Yeah, graveyard. So we'd get there around 10:45. You'd have roll call, get your assigned uh, post for that evening, and then you would go. Depending on what post you had, you could be in a house with uh, two other officers. On third shift. It was two other officers.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have a control officer, and then one officer for two wings, and then another officer for the other two wings. And every 30 minutes, you had to go out on the floor, on the hall, and sign books, make sure that there was nothing crazy going on, or no one was trying to
Right.
do drugs or smoke or
Or
all
shove
that.
dick bones up the chicken bones up
Yeah,
the dick.
shove
Yeah.
dick bones up. Yeah. Make nighttime was when they like to try and commit suicide, so
Okay.
you had to keep an eye out on that. Which we had a few suicides out there. Had
Right.
a dude slit his own throat.
Dang.
Had a dude hang himself. We we actually had a guy that didn't try to commit suicide. He had some time in his cell alone, so he got out the old porno
Okay.
mags and was spanking it, and in the middle of it died. Had a heart
Oh.
attack.
Okay.
So
Oh.
they found him laying on the floor with
He
the magazine next to him and his pants down around his ankle.
Hey,
he
dang man.
died doing what he
There's
loves.
worse ways to go out.
Yeah,
There's certainly,
I mean,
there's
I'll
certainly
take
worse
it.
go
ways.
out, go out.
There you go.
Was he old
Were there
or?
any?
Yeah, he was older.
Okay, I was gonna say. I mean, I can't imagine he just like saw just the perfect body at like a 30-year-old age. Like, oh my god, I will never
Oh,
see anything like this ever
is it.
again.
This is the
My
pinnacle.
my heart gives out.
Trust
Were
me.
there?
When they got their mail going in and out had to be looked at, right?
Just
So
filthy.
Sure.
Filthy if it
all these
wasn't. Yeah.
women that send these guys naked pictures and all that other stuff,
Uh
the officers that are going through the mail see it before the inmates even do, and I can attest that they don't even have to be attractive women.
oh.
They don't care.
Oh man.
Like,
You know,
uh,
as a prisoner, I'm sure. Yeah, the man that's thirsty dreams of water, huh? Even if it's a little.
to the point where they would pull the centerfolds out of Playboys
Uh huh.
and they would tape them to other inmates' backs when they
Oh
were fucking
my.
them.
You're
So they
joking.
had. I am not joking. That
Okay.
is 100% legit.
Okay, well, we can't just gloss over that. We got to dive a little bit into the taping of of centerfolds. What? Okay, was this caught? Like, did you ever catch this, or was it just like known?
I did not catch this. My lieutenant, he caught it. He had it happen multiple times, where he caught this happening.
Right.
You would catch it. Like, I caught a dude doing missionary position with another dude once, which that threw me
Interesting.
for a loop. I was like,
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
well, yeah, like I was like, oh, I mean, I guess you would do it that way, but it was nothing that I'd ever thought of. You know what I
Like,
mean?
yeah, you know, you don't have to look at them, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just don't have to. You don't have to be face to
Yeah.
face. There's other ways to do it. That's great. Were the magazines, were they contraband, or was it just kind of
No,
understood that like prison full of dudes, you know, stuff's gotta.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
they had those magazines, they had books, and I mean all that shit. There there was a dude there. His nickname was Six Noodle, and
Okay.
they called him Six Noodle because for a 6-pack of ramen, he would do anything you wanted.
Six
Right.
pack of ramen. What? $20? Yeah, not even. If even.
Yep.
$20. I'll do whatever. Okay.
And that
Well.
dude, he was a child predator. Like, that's why he was
Okay.
in prison, and he was sending letters out to other outside people about this child porn stuff and all that other stuff.
Oh my god.
And he got to the point where he was about to get out, right? And like he's telling everybody I'm getting out tomorrow and all this other crap. And he did. They let him get out, and they put him through the paperwork and all that other stuff. And he walked out the front door, and the state police were standing right there and rearrested him
Oh wow.
Oh, there
for
you go. Right
the
on.
child pornography stuff, and he
Because of the
went right
letters.
back to prison.
I was gonna
Yep.
say,
Yeah.
like, how are they just gonna let because I'm sure they have to read the letters as they get sent
Oh
out.
yeah, we have to read everything. We have to look at everything, make sure there's no drugs coming in, because they would they would send acid in through the mail and all sorts of crazy shit.
I had seen I forgot where that it was a common practice to try and sneak acid into prisons by using it almost like a stamps, and like this like the actual stamps themselves were what like the actual acid was. And where did you like where
100% true.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
Cuz that's just I mean like I'm sure it doesn't look the same as an actual postal stamp, does it? It's like pretty obvious
No.
or
Right.
yeah. Cuz at this point I've seen I've seen pictures online of how detailed some of the acid tabs are now, and some of
Mhm.
them, if I was a corrections officer, it'd sneak past me. I'll tell you that. It would get past me
Oh,
pretty easily at this point. So,
it happened, and then you would also have piece of shit correctional officers that would bring the stuff in for them and transfer it for them.
mhm.
We
Yeah.
had when I worked there, there was at least 3 or 4 women that got fired because they were having sex with inmates and
Oh my
all that
god,
crazy shit. Yeah,
for like within what time period?
the 6 or 7 years that I worked there.
That is too short to have four people do the exact same thing.
Yep.
How do you? I mean, these guys, these prisoners, just got to be either a good looking or some charmers. What do you think was the usual for that? Were they good looking or were they just charmers?
uh, let's just say the women that they were having sex with were the type of women that had low self-esteem
Okay,
and
maybe they were taping the back. Maybe they were taping on their back too. They were taping
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
they were
I
taping
mean,
the
don't get me
centerfold.
wrong, there's at least one of the females that I know that was fairly attractive, but
But
the
yeah.
inmate was about to win a lawsuit where he was about to become a multimillionaire.
Oh wow, like
So
wrongfully
yeah,
imprisoned or what happened?
no, it had something to do with a lawsuit before he went to prison or something. So
Okay,
she was trying to get in on that
I bet
money
yeah.
grab.
I'd be getting
Right.
hype if I was going through that and I had a lawsuit coming my way and I was still in prison. Ooh, I would have to keep my mouth shut though, because I'm sure the other
Oh yeah,
prisoners don't want to hear about your joys on the outside.
right. Well, not only that, but you might get your ass kicked until you start putting money on somebody's commissary book
Okay,
or something like that too.
yeah,
So, obviously, you dealt with all sorts of people, the freaky prisoners, the piece of shit guards sneaking in stuff for the people, and also, like you mentioned, like society's most vile people, like child molesters. Did your perception of human nature, did that change at all your perspective on how you view people, or did you manage to see the good in everyone, or how does it
No,
affect your psyche?
it definitely affects your psyche. The
uh-huh.
one thing that you have to understand, a lot like nurses, correctional officers have a very fucked up sense of humor
Okay,
because of the stuff that we see.
You kind
Like
of have
it,
to.
yeah, you kind of have to laugh at some of the stuff. So like, eh, when you become a correctional officer, the people that you hung out with before that, they kind of have a tendency to fall by the wayside because unless you've worked it, people don't understand it. You know what I
really?
mean?
Okay,
Yeah, and so like I mean, like I said, we would laugh at some pretty fucked up shit, and if someone was talking about something like that on the outside and you laughed at it, they'd be like, "Is this
They would
dude a
look at you
psychopath?"
crazy,
Or,
of
You're
course. Yeah,
insane. Yeah,
what?
right.
You know what I mean? Uh,
wow.
like the guy jerking off dying. Like,
Uh huh.
we thought it was hysterical.
Well, I mean, listen, if it brings me any comfort, I think that's probably one of the funniest things I've heard as well. So, I mean, I get it. Yeah.
Right. Well, see, and I kind of ran into that. It was funny because when you go to the academy, that's one of the things that they do is they pull you and your family in, and they tell people you're going to see some major changes in these people. Like, uh, they're going to have bad days where they have a lot of anger, or they're going to have that fucked up sense of humor, and they were going off on this like sense of humor and all this shit, and I'm sitting in the room and I'm like, oh, this is fucked up humor, all right, I found my
Yeah.
people, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
This is just humor. Yeah.
right, I was like, oh, I already laughed at this shit. So uh but it's one of the highest suicide rate jobs, highest divorce rate jobs,
Yeah.
all that fun stuff. But to this day, I won't sit in a restaurant with my back to a door,
Okay, so you
or
did pick
I
up
don't.
some of like the survival
Oh yeah,
instincts that you would get
I
in
don't
there.
like. I
That's
don't like people coming up behind me. If you're walking behind me or anything like that, that I will stop and be like, "No, get in front of me.
yeah,
I don't care who it is." You know what I mean?
that's
It can
good
be my
practice.
wife. She's following me. I'm like, get in front of me.
Get in
You're
front of me.
driving me
Okay,
up a
Right.
fucking wall.
just that sense of being followed is probably
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Yep.
So just your awareness, your kind of cautiousness around other people, was there ever a time where you came close to, or you even encountered like serious danger to yourself?
Absolutely. I don't work there anymore because of an accident at work.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, we had an incident where we had about 20 inmates that refused to lock up, and uh, we had a bunch of officers, lieutenants, sergeants showing up at the facility, and the ringleader that kind of started it, he wouldn't lock up, and uh, we went to take him down, and when we tackled him, I came down on my knees and I blew out my back. So I've
Oh
got
damn.
this my my L4 L5 disc is sitting on a nerve root, and
Mhm.
like my right leg, now I have to walk with a cane because my right leg will give out
Okay.
at any given time. Like, I don't know, because there's nerve damage. And when I went to see about having a surgery for it, the doctor told me, he goes, you've got a 50-50 shot that you'll get rid of the pain, but the nerve damage is permanent, so you're going to be dealing with that. And I was just like, I'm not going under surgery then, fuck that.
Yeah.
So I walk around with a cane, but I had to sue the state because they wouldn't pay for my medical bills and
They
all that
didn't?
shit. So
Wow, okay.
no,
So were they trying to
everything was on camera. They fought it tooth and nail. It took me 3 years.
fight like the disability or just the initial like medical charge?
Both.
Both. Which is so
Yep.
not even funny, which is insane because I mean, it's like you see the camera's right there.
Right.
It's pretty gritty. Obviously, you know, I'm not going to speak like I know too much about the prison industrial complex, but knowing how greedy the whole system is, you know, with bed filling, for, you know, lack of, I'm not going to say amenities because it is a prison, but you know how shitty some of the circumstances are for some prisons. It must be really kind of demoralizing to see it for the prisoners and then be like, and then kind of get screwed over yourself and be like, oh wow, this is it, huh?
Right. Yeah, it's a thankless job. Like, it's like you were talking about with the cable company. Like, did you ever get this like sense of
Yeah.
fulfillment? And when you first start working at the prison, and like, you can almost tell exactly how long someone's been working in the prison system by their attitude,
Okay.
right? Like, the first year, maybe two, everybody's like, yeah, I'm all gung ho. I'm doing this great job for this society and all that other shit. And then you deal with the political side of it,
Uh
and
huh.
no more. You're just like, fuck this place.
Right.
These people suck. We had horrible wardens. Our governor, when it comes to corrections, is a fucking idiot.
Hmm.
Um, they don't know how to take care of their staff. They don't know how to keep their staff safe. Like it's insane. Like from what I understand, they don't even have all the positions filled anymore. So
Wow. So
there
it's
are some
reflecting.
nights,
It's reflecting.
yeah, there are some nights when there's supposed to be people up in towers that are no longer in towers. And those are the guys that are supposed to be watching for the escapes and keeping the people that
Wow.
are on the walk. The walk is movement. It's anytime there's inmate movement, they're moved on the walk is what it's called. So there's typically a couple of officers that work on the walk, and the tower is their protection because you'll have one officer moving a line of like 200 inmates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's
you're outnumbered. You're not allowed to carry weapons like the shit that you see on TV where they've got like mace and the billy club and guns and all that. No, that's not how that works
there's
at all.
there's a really interesting concept. I forget the philosopher that was talking about this, but it's kind of it boils down to the perception of being watched the entire time, whether that be in the prison or society, especially now, right? It's called the panopticon, right? Basically, it's an idea that you can imagine a prison with a central tower where the inmates can't see in, and the people who can are in the tower can see out. Now, the argument is whether or not or how effective having even like one person in that tower would be, just because the perception of being watched by the prisoners, even if there's literally no one in the tower, how powerful your own mind can play on that. I wonder if they kind of took away those jobs from the watchtower because of the perceived danger, or the perception of being watched is just fulfilled just by having the watchtower there. But still, that's really dangerous, especially for the people on like the walk. That's bad.
Yeah, and not only that, like so inmates listen to everything, right?
Uh-huh.
So all it takes is two officers in a house bitching about it, and they already know that
Yeah.
there's nobody in those towers. Like
Okay.
so they yeah.
So it's not even like a secret then. They know that it's completely
Oh yeah.
unmanned.
No, there's so many officers out there that run their mouth that you couldn't keep a secret in prison if your life depended on it.
That's
Sure.
that's
And
really
I
dangerous.
assume the lack of staff, not having a full staff, just makes the jobs for the people that are there even more perilous, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you don't have those extra people backing you up.
So at the prison that I worked at, there were 1,800 inmates, and
1,800.
on third shift, your security staff was like 25 people.
Holy. So it really is just
It's
it's a matter of
yeah.
numbers. It's a matter of numbers, and then also just the available resources.
Hmm.
25 for 1,800. Do you think
You
that was
mentioned
enough,
the
or
No, absolutely not.
okay? Even then, okay.
you mentioned the incident where the inmates wouldn't lock up, and it turned into a whole thing where they're would you call that like a riot, or were there incidents close to a riot that were common, or something that
That
you experienced?
that barely qualified as a mini riot. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
Yeah, right.
like when you say riot, like that's like an entire building, or so you'd have like
Sure.
400 inmates, or like the yard or stuff like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Back in I think it was the 70s, uh, the prisons had gone pretty lax. Are you guys familiar with Richard Speck?
No.
You know who
No,
that
no.
is? All right. So Richard Speck was uh, spree killer. I guess you'd call him a spree killer, not really a serial killer.
Okay.
He
Okay.
killed a bunch of nurses up in toward Chicago, and got caught and arrested. And they had footage of him inside of his cell where he was basically throwing a party, snorting coke, and that type of stuff. And when that happened, the prison kind of went like super serious, like lockdown. That's when your inmates had uniforms and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as a couple years after I started, um, and I'm not trying to get into a political
Yeah.
argument
No. Feel free. Yeah.
as far as Republican Democrat, but Republicans, when they're in charge, prisons are more strict. When
Mm-hmm.
Democrats are in charge, they're less strict because they're more worried about getting stuff for the inmates to do and
The humanity
programs.
aspect,
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. Right.
that part of it.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, probably 90% of the inmates in there don't need the humanity
R-
part of it. You know what I
Okay.
Right.
mean?
They're,
Don't
well,
get me
they're
wrong.
there for a reason, you know.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they don't make mistakes as far as
Sure.
prosecuting the wrong person and that type of stuff. But when you break those numbers down, it's like less than 3%. You know what I
Wow.
mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about less than 3%, I personally am okay with those numbers. I
Okay. So
guess.
it's like
Yeah.
the crack eggs for an omelet for is what you believe then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically. But I'll tell you this: if I ever heard an inmate say "God bless," I instantly was done with them
Uh-huh.
because they're full of fucking shit. They
Mm-hmm.
want something, and they think if you think they're religious, then they're getting over on you,
Yeah.
and they're not.
Yeah.
We're just like, shut up, jackass, move on. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was kind of a a, a culture shock for me from going from the cable company to the prison, because at the cable company it was all about customer service and all this other stuff,
Yeah.
and at the prison your customer service was shut the fuck up and lock up.
Okay.
That was your
So very,
customer
very
Right.
different
service.
then. Stark
Yeah,
contrast.
exactly,
Did
because
did you
they were always trying to get over on people,
Yeah.
always.
yeah. Did you I yeah, and I understand that aspect is like, these people are there's a power dynamic there, right? You can't treat them like not like they're lesser than, but you can't treat them like how you would treat one of your peers, right? Like you said,
Yes,
just shut the
yes and
fuck up
no.
and get in the thing. Were there any? Well, what do you mean by that?
So there were a lot of inmates there that were just there to put their head down, do their time, and get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay,
like me personally, you, as an officer, I did not want to know why they were in prison,
sure.
because if I did know why they were in prison, I probably would treat them differently.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I would talk to the inmates just like I'm talking to you guys, right?
Uh,
okay,
Because when it comes down to it, it they're people too. But if I knew what they did and it was heinous,
your internal
or
biases are kind of already going to automatically
yeah,
make you feel a certain way.
they're audit exactly. Yeah. Like I was on the walk a lot when I was on third shift. I was one of the walk officers.
Mm-hmm.
I was I was walking this line to R4, and R4 had a heavy population of child molesters, right?
Okay.
mhm,
And I I have no use for that. Zero.
Yeah.
Zilch.
right.
You're a piece of shit as far as I'm concerned. Let's just take you out back, put a gun to your head, and call it a fucking day.
Uh-huh.
Fair.
That that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And I'm walking this line, and I have this one Hispanic inmate say to me, he says, "Hey," I said, "Sorry, that's my real name. Dred Baird is my pen name." But
Okay.
Yeah.
anyway,
I
my
can bleep that out too, so don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So he calls me by my last name, and he says, "Hey, hypothetically speaking," he's like, this house has a lot of child molesters in it, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "So if we're on the wing and you're my officer for that wing, and I'm at the back of it beating the shit out of a guy that's in here for touching little kids, are you going to come stop me?" I said, "Well, if you're going to do something like that and make me do my job, yes, I'm going to come stop you." He goes, "Oh." I said, "That doesn't mean I'm running." He goes, "Oh, okay, I get you."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just one of those things, like, yeah.
Yep.
And
Sure.
they have a look, like,
Okay.
to this day, like, it's been almost a decade since I've worked at the prison, right?
Hmm.
And I still, like, I go out somewhere walking through Walmart or whatever, and I'll see somebody like that, and I'm like, that's a fucking chomo. Like, you could just
Like
see
you,
it.
like a spider sense almost. Like you've
Yeah,
picked up like
yeah,
a
Yeah.
yeah. You're just like, oh, another one. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Just I feel like this would be a great place to put that. What? Not that it's 100%, but what is that type of look then?
So typically, it's kind of a doofy looking dude. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, someone that probably didn't have a lot of success with women.
Okay.
Which, don't get me wrong, there are some of them out there that did. You know what I mean?
Uh huh.
But
Right.
for the most part, like Six Noodle, the dude was maybe 5'6", 300 pounds, just
Just
bald.
not well put together. These
Yeah,
people not
not
well
Yeah.
well
put
put
together.
together. Just, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but you can see him and you can be like, that fucker touches kids. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Especially within like a prison sense, you know that they did something to be here, so you can kind of
Right,
guess based off of the look. And if they have that kind of doofus, not put together look, it's kind of not for sure, but you kind of have a feeling that they probably did that then.
right.
Okay. Wow.
Like,
so
we had this one guy. Uh, he was out in what we call R4. It was the very last building, same place where the population is high with these child molesters. And right along the prison, we have railroad tracks, which, genius idea as far as I was concerned. Yeah, let's build a prison right next to a set of railroad tracks.
Yeah.
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 But hey, I wasn't in charge of that. But this dude was getting moved, and he was getting moved from one side of the wing to the other, which was right along the railroad tracks. And so it has a window outside to those railroad tracks with like a screen, like a metal screen.
Yeah.
So he says, I can't go over there. I'm allergic. I think he said grass or something like that. I'm
Allergic to
allergic.
grace.
Yeah, the grass or whatever. I can't have it coming in when the tracks go by, or like, he was just so full of shit,
Okay.
right? And the people that are in there for child molesting, they don't want to be known that they're in there for child molesting
Right.
Oh, so
because,
he wanted to move
It's
buildings because of the high population there, then kind of.
no, he just didn't want to go to the side where the trains went through, because when they went through, it would wake him up and couldn't sleep. So
Okay.
he wanted to stay on the other side of the wing.
Okay.
And he goes, "Yeah, I'm allergic to the grass." And the guy I was working with goes, "Yeah, well, it's too bad you're not allergic to little kids, you child molested piece of shit. Move."
oh
Yeah,
my
And
yeah.
he
Get
god.
said
in
it.
there.
He said it loud enough that the whole wing. So the whole wing,
Right.
like, he was put on blast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not a death sentence, but it's a sentence for sure.
Yeah.
I've only really heard about the checking of paperwork. Is that something that's pretty common with the internal inmates where they will check each other's paperwork to see and make sure that they're not these types of people that will do these things?
I don't know that there's probably people that are looking for it, but if the
Uh-huh.
information gets put out there, then there'll be something done about it.
Yeah.
Is there? I just want to confirm. So, like, building R4, was that reserved strictly for child molesters, or were they integrated into the general population
No,
as well?
they were in Gen Pop too. Just they
Okay.
tried to keep them. They were in mainly in one wing. Like you'd have them in other buildings too,
Hmm.
but they were mainly in that one wing,
Right.
unless
Did
they
that
had.
cause problems for them? I would assume like violence towards
Uh,
them once they found out, the inmates.
yeah, it's not as prevalent as you might think, but it's happened before.
Right.
Okay.
But there's so obviously I worked there a while. I had conversations with lots of inmates. I had a conversation with the I-80 uh, killer, the
Wow.
serial killer that back in the
I've heard
80s
about him.
ran,
Yeah.
yeah, ran up and down. Like, so when I first started, we had to go shake down cells, which is basically where you go in and tear the room apart looking for
Yeah.
contraband and shit.
Yeah.
And so we're standing there in this line waiting, and this guy's trying to get a uh, jolt or reaction out of me, right? So he starts telling me who he's it, and he's handing me magazines with articles of him in it. Like he's standing there and he's wearing like the gimp shit and
Yeah.
that type of stuff, because he would have these women chained up in the back of his semi, and he would torture them and all that stuff. So like he's in leather, wearing a collar and all that crap.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean we talked to uh, all kinds there, everything from DUIs to serial killers and
Sure. God
mass
damn.
murders
Well,
and
dealing with all those types of people, dealing with the situations you've mentioned, I would assume it's probably very mentally stressful. Was there
absolutely.
something, right? Was there something you did personally just to keep you grounded or keep you maybe to decompress after work? Just a ritual?
Typically, me and a couple of the guys would go to the gym and work out.
Okay, fitness.
Yeah,
Having that
fitness
community,
basically.
having the community
Yep.
with you as well. I'm sure,
Yes.
leaning on the people that you care about to understand that, wow, I'm seeing some messed up stuff. I don't mean to take it home, but I'm gonna come home some days. I'm gonna be hot. Some days I'm gonna, need some decompression, and having that really solid framework of people that will help you, I'm sure, is probably really important.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. So just a couple more questions and we'll wrap up. Earlier you said that correctional officers, it's kind of a thankless job in line with the question I asked you with the cable. Is there any significant satisfaction? So if you had to describe kind of this job in one word, what would it be?
Shithole.
Shithole.
Shithole. There you
Shithole.
go.
Yeah, I'm
Would
sure.
you
Yeah.
recommend it to others?
Uh, if you don't have a way of making decent money a better way, yes,
Yeah.
I would, because
Okay.
the benefits are good. I mean, but
State job.
yeah, it's a
If
state
you don't
job.
get hurt,
You
of
have
course, I guess, they're going to try and
right,
screw you over, but
but the chances uh, of you making it out of a career in corrections without being assaulted is slim to none.
slim to none.
Right.
So
Right.
slim to none.
So
So
definitely
yeah,
a job.
yeah, it's because you're everything there. Like you have to, if a fire breaks out on the wing, you have to be the firefighter. If someone has medical issues, you have to be the EMT. Like so, there's so much stuff that is involved with being a corrections officer that a lot of people don't realize.
Right, right. And I assume just with the, like you mentioned, the lower staffing of these facilities, it just more and more gets piled onto the people that are still there. It just makes
Right.
it's kind of this terrible feedback loop. So,
Yes. And that's the
wow.
thing is like you come in fresh and you have this mindset, and within 2 or 3 years, that mindset's gone, and you're just like
Yeah,
everybody else that works there. Like
yeah,
you're sick of the upper people, the wardens, and the political bullshit and all that crap, and you're just to the point where you're like, I can't wait till I hit retirement age so I can be done with this.
Get the hell out of here. Yeah, it's real life.
And
So,
as a dude, like, I've seen more dicks in my life now than I ever thought I
right.
would see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
That's-
not even counting the
Strip
Snapchat,
inmates
huh?
out.
Not even
Yeah,
counting the
yeah.
Snapchat ones. Okay.
that's the
Exactly.
unseen aspect of it, man. So you're gonna see
A lot of dicks.
stuff you not want to. Okay, so just to wrap up, you said you had a boy who's kind of mid-20s age. What's one lesson or one piece of advice that you wish you learned at 25 instead of 50?
It wasn't quite 50 when I learned it. But when you're going to
Right.
pick out your spouse, right? And I drilled this into my son's head.
Yes.
See what the mother looks like and how she acts, because that is what you were marrying.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
A look into the future, if you will.
Exactly. And no, I was pretty open with my kids. Like they knew that they could come to me and ask anything, and
Right.
I would give them the answer, because I would much rather them be informed properly by me than misinformed by
Just learning it elsewhere.
learning it. Like my son one day, we're walking in this department store, and he's probably 10 at the time, and we walk into this store, and there's this enormous woman, and he kind of looks at me and goes, "Hey Dad, look, it's a butterface." And I
Oh my.
started laughing, and I was like, "No, that is not a butterface." And he goes, "It's not?" I was like, "No, a butterface is everything looks good but her face." He goes, "Oh, so what's she?" I was like, "That is a prime grade A piece of Homo sapien fat ass."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that is not a butterface. But
It's great, man.
Well, then,
I have a lot
so
of fun with my kids.
that's good.
when
You know,
they're
it's
growing
that's
up.
good to hear. It's you, like you said earlier, you play games with your son, whatever those may be, and it's good that you adapt to, how to have fun with them now. I'm sure it's probably very different than when you and your father, or whenever you were growing up, what that would look like. So it's cool to see when dads adapt to the times and have fun with their kids the way that they like to have it. So it's cool to hear about
Yeah,
that.
I put a video game controller in his hand when he was probably a year old,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
like, so he would sit on my lap. Now, the first controllers I gave him, they weren't hooked up to anything. You know what I mean? It was just he thought he was playing,
Yeah.
and
Yes. Yeah. The
I
little
milked
brother
that for
effect. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, for as long as I could have. But now he's 25, and uh, it doesn't matter what the game is, he will destroy me, and
Yeah.
he
But the
loves to give
point
me
is,
shit about it.
the
And
how
I'm
point
it
is
like,
that
goes.
you're
listen,
there, though.
fucker, I taught you everything I know. I don't want to hear it.
Right. Right. You play Pal World with him? I saw you were playing a bit
Yeah,
before.
Pal World, Call of Duty, Black Ops. We've been playing this game called First Class Trouble. I don't know. Do you guys game at all?
Oh yeah, yes we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So First Class Trouble is a lot like what's that dumbass game where you run around the ship trying to murder people, and Among Us. So it's
Okay.
it's
Among
kind
Okay.
of like Among
Yeah.
Us, but there's booby traps in it, and that shit. We play. Oh, if you can think of it, we've probably played it. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
A lot of big titles. Okay.
yeah, exactly. Yep, and
That's cool.
Mecha Chameleon. A lot of party games,
Super
because we'll
fun.
get like
Super
9
fun.
or
Yeah.
10 people in a group and just doing stupid shit. And
Yeah.
The point being that you're
Well,
with your
hey,
son though is really awesome. So
yeah. Well, hey, man. Yeah, it's great. You have a great relationship with your boy. I want to thank you for your time today.
yes, thank you so much.
It's really
yeah,
interesting
anytime.
stories, man. It's
You know,
You
as
want
a
you want one more for the road for the cable?
sure, yeah,
let's hear it.
absolutely. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I actually went to this house because I had to fix their phone. Right, they were having
Okay.
problems with phone, and I get there, and it was a bad piece of equipment, and I swapped out the piece of equipment. But when you swap out the piece of equipment before you can leave the house, you have to verify that all the phones in the home are working. Right. So this lady that I'm at her house, she was a fairly prominent realtor at the time, like
Uh-huh.
one of those people that everybody knows in a small town, you know what I
I'm
mean?
sure
Yeah.
they see the signs.
Right. So I get her stuff fixed and I'm like, all right, how many more phones do you have? And she's like, we've got one in the kitchen and one in the back bedroom. I was like, okay, I just need to check them out. So she's like, okay. So she walks me into the kitchen and her husband is in there and that dude is on oxygen. Right? There's like oxygen tubes just strung throughout the
Like
house
the
and
Yeah.
tanks, yeah.
yeah, tanks, and he's in the middle of the kitchen, and he's got the mask on, and he's just kind of like doing that, you know what I mean? And I
Okay,
was like,
yeah. He's
Yeah.
gasping,
this
he's fish
dude's gonna,
gasping, yeah.
yeah, this dude's gonna die while I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I checked the phone in the kitchen. It's working. She's like, okay, it's in the bedroom. So we go walk into this back bedroom, and we walk in there, and the first thing I noticed is on the it's got a headboard that's like bookshelf,
Yeah.
and on the top of it is this giant jar of Vaseline,
Oh
right?
my. Okay.
And next to it is this like four bald purple headed massager,
Okay.
and I'm like, all right. So I
Yeah,
walk
interesting. Yeah.
to the far side of the room because that's where the phone is, and I pick it up and it's dead. So I do some testing, and it's just the line between the jack and the phone itself had gone bad or got pulled. I don't know. But so as I go down to like get halfway under the bed to plug it in where the phone jack is, I notice that there's this nylon rope on the front corner leg thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right. So then I look down at the foot of the bed, and sure as shit, there's another nylon rope. And then as I'm walking out of the room, I look on the other side of the bed, and there's two more ropes in one in each corner. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
all right, so these
Something's
dudes are
going
some
on
like,
here.
yeah,
Yeah,
these
freaky
people are
ass.
like freaky.
Yeah,
This no
freaky as
wonder
hell.
he's like dying in the kitchen. You know
Yeah,
what
he drained his life force. Yeah.
yeah, he just got done being tied up in the bed and shit. I was like, what the
Wow.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
fuck? So yeah, dude,
Oh my
that
goodness. Well, maybe
that
she
was
had to
one of
put
the
put one of those Playboy magazine pages on his
On,
face.
yeah, on his face, yeah. Let's switch the role up
he's
a
got
little bit.
Yeah.
he's got Playgirl instead.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's great, man.
That's a
Thanks
great
for
story
coming
to
on.
end on. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dred. Thank you for coming on. And, like, you know, this was the first one, so you are truly a special guest in this one, but thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay, awesome. Well, that was another episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you to the people that are on Spotify or YouTube. Consider liking and subscribing to the episode, and thank you for watching.